This week, the Transport Minister, Fikile Mbalula, has again promised billions of rand for our national road network. But I'm sure around the country you've noticed how bad the condition of our roads is. In so many places there are big potholes. There are potholes on really busy roads. Other highways, like the road between Joburg and Polokwane, frankly, in my experience at least, cannot cope with the number of cars on busy weekends. What is to be done? Professor Marianne van der Schuuren is a professor in transport studies at the University of Cape Town. Professor, good afternoon to you. I don't know if the right word is a crisis, but I'll claim it's a crisis. We seem to almost have a crisis considering the state of our roads. Are there certain major causes which are affecting all of our roads? And particularly, are there particular problems we can point to and say, that's what's causing the majority of potholes on our roads at the moment?
Good afternoon to you and good afternoon to the listeners. Firstly, I need to make sure that the listeners know that I'm here on behalf of SAICI, the South African Institution for Civil Engineering. This is a voluntary institution that looks after the civil engineering profession. We are here for our members and we are here for the betterment of South Africa. And thank you for your question with regards to our road network. Of course, we can't deny that there are problems on our roads, and you correct that we do see many potholes, etc., when we are on the roads. I think the issues that have led to this are multitude. One is that we have seen the collapse of our rail system, which means that we have more people on the road, we have more buses and taxis on the road. But on top of that, and that's often the cause of the deterioration of our infrastructure, we have more trucks on the road. We see the collapse of the rail system for goods, and therefore trucking is happening on the road. And unfortunately, our roads were never built for the type of vehicles that are using it today.
So one thing leads to the other. If you had better railway systems, you would have fewer trucks, you'd have less weight on the road. You'd also have fewer people on the road, so fewer cars, fewer passenger cars generally.
That's correct, that's correct. And to make sure that we are building the rail infrastructure as the backbone of the South African transport system, as well as making sure that our roads are maintained, we need to make sure that we have the human capacity in the rail systems, PRASA, Transnet, etc., as well as in our municipalities. What I can tell you from the numbers and needs work that was done by Alison Lawless on behalf of SAICI is that the knowledge gap in the country has increased between 2005 when she did the first study and 2017 when she did our most recent study. So we need to train more people that can build and maintain our transport networks, rail and road alike.
Our roads are managed by councils, some of our roads are managed by provinces, and some of them are managed by national government. It seems to me that roads managed by SANRAL, the South African National Roads Agency, are in a better condition than other roads. Is that just a perception, or is that reality?
I think you are correct to a certain extent. We can't put all municipalities or all provinces in the same vein either. What we see is that the institutions that have the human capacity are able to maintain the roads, maintain the rail systems. We have rail systems that are functioning well in South Africa as well. And the institutions, municipalities, provinces that don't have sufficient human capacity, unfortunately are not able to maintain our road network and the institutions with regards to rail as well, our rail systems well enough. From a SAICI point of view, we would like to encourage those municipalities to talk to us, because we have technical divisions, rails, harbour division, we have a transportation division, so we have a lot of knowledge in our institution, an institution with 15,000 members, to make sure that we can assist government departments that are battling with the lack of people in their institutions, and we can assist and see. We can, open the discussion. We're here to talk to government to do whatever we can to make sure that we rebuild our economy. And the slogan that I've been using for my presidential year is reboot and rebuild. That's, I think, what this nation needs.
A lot of people, I think, will look at the situation on our roads. I mean, if you take Joburg, for example, I know that you're not based in Joburg, but there are potholes just absolutely everywhere. It doesn't matter if you're in a rich area or a poor area, you'll see potholes. And I think some people might look at that. I think frankly, the Joburg Roads Agency looks at it and thinks, we just don't have the money to fix it, so we're not going to do anything, or we're only going to fix part of it. Has the problem actually got too big to fix? Is it too expensive to do?
Listen, I think it's too expensive to not do it. Listen, there's always, if we look at why refurbish a road, etc., we need to look at it holistically. We need to look at what are the economic, the social, the environmental benefits and also costs. And we also need to look at the cost of not doing it. And I do think where we do have roads that need attention, those roads have been built in certain areas because they were needed. They were needed in the past. They are needed now. And we need to make sure that we have the financial and human capacity to do so. Budgets are increasing. We have heard that. So let's make sure that we spend the money. Maybe we need to spend the money quicker. We have seen in 2008 and 2009, also with regards to spending on roads, how we have been able to not go into or become part of the global recession, but make sure that the construction and civil engineering planning did carry the economy. So I think what needs to happen is to make sure that we do spend the funds that we have, that we spend them as quickly as possible so that we can also gain the benefits of the infrastructure that we're building. And what we shouldn't forget is that we need to maintain our infrastructure as well. That's where the potholes come from in the first place. The longer you wait with maintenance, the bigger the issue becomes. So refurbishment might be needed at this moment in time. But also, we have a vast population. We have unemployment. So why not use the opportunity that we are having to maintain our roads, maybe in a labor-intensive way? And we do see around the world local municipalities and local societies to actually taking over the maintenance of roads. I was on the road last week, and I actually saw people from the community filling in, a pothole with sand that they brought off the hill that was on the side of the road. So even communities today are doing that already, and maybe we need to find a way to formalize that, train people to do it properly, and formalize local maintenance by labor-intensive maintenance.
And Professor van der Schuuren, you made the point about mass transport, about public transport. I'm talking about railways. There's a lot of sort of heat in the discussion, a lot of talk about railways at the moment, whether it's freight and Transnet and private operators, whether it's Cape Town and trying to take over parts of the network from PRASA. Do you believe all of this discussion is actually going to go anywhere?
Listen, I think discussion is always good. In the end of the day, I think that we need people that have the human capacity, no matter where that is sitting, to rebuild and maintain our infrastructure. That is also the case for rail infrastructure. There can be collaboration, there can be public and private partnerships. And as I said, our divisions are also welcome any requests from government or private partners to collaborate. By doing that, we need to make sure that we provide the best infrastructure for our people and that we maintain that infrastructure. And I think what we need to remember, I know that there are some hesitations maybe from the minibus taxi industry, if rail comes back online, what does that mean for their business? But our population is growing. We have gaps in service provision at this moment in time, also in the transport industry, And with a growing population, and the estimations from the UN is that we will have another between 20 and 60 million people in this country by the end of this century. We need to start providing for those people as well. So I think the pie is big enough to make sure that everybody has business, and nobody needs to be afraid for improved services in other transportation sectors.
Professor, thank you so much for your time. Professor Marianne van der Schuuren, head of the South African Institute of Civil Engineering. More